You are listening to PastThink.com audiobook. Please like and subscribe, thank you. Chapter 21. Cao Cao discusses heroes with Xuande. Yuan Shu dies, and Guan Yu kills Che Zhou to capture Xuzhou. Xuande, says Ma Ting to the surprise of the others. Really? I mean, says Dongqing, he is related to the imperial family, but he is also a close ally of Cao Cao himself. He won't take the risk. I saw what happened during the hunt. Guan Yu would have slain Cao Cao, but for Xuande's intervention. Xuande could see that they were outnumbered. But given the chance to succeed, I'm sure he will jump at the opportunity. So it is agreed that Dongqing will quietly probe to see if Xuande will join the conspiracy. At first, the interview doesn't seem to be going the way Dongqing had hoped. When he mentions Guan Yu's actions at the hunt, Xuande seems to defend Cao Cao. But slowly, little by little, the two men begin to open up to each other, until Xuande finally concedes that he has been testing Dongqing, worried that he has been sent by Cao Cao to check on his loyalty. Finally he too signs his name on the white silk sheet, and commits himself to the overthrow of Cao Cao. Xuande is only too aware of the dangers of attracting Cao Cao's suspicions, and so he buries himself in working in his garden, apparently having no interest in the affairs of state. Imagine, then, his horror on being invited to visit Cao Cao in his home. A smiling Cao Cao greets him, and warmed wine and delicacies are set before them as they sit in Cao Cao's garden pavilion. Everything Cao Cao says seems to the frightened Xuande to be loaded with an auspicious meaning, as if Cao Cao already knows about the plot. At one point Cao Cao spots a dark cloud formation, which looks like a dragon. As they lean on a balustrade in Cao's garden watching the cloud, Cao Cao asks, "What do you know about dragons?" "Not a lot," confesses Xuande. "Dragons, you know," says Cao Cao, "can be any size, either large or small. They can fly in the sky or disappear into the depths. Large, they can create clouds and pour forth mists. Small, they can disappear from sight altogether. Soaring up, they reach heaven itself. Sinking down, they lie at the very bottom of the sea. This is now springtime. This is the season when dragons rise to the occasion. Like a man who wants to rule the whole world. These dragons are the greatest, just as heroes in any age are the greatest. Now you are well traveled. Who are the greatest heroes of our age?" Xuande knows he has to answer this very, very carefully so as not to stir up the anger or resentment of Cao Cao. "Yuan Shu," he says cautiously. Laughing, Cao Cao replies, "Just old bones in a grave." Yuan Shao, to which Cao Cao responds, "Fierce, it's true, but weak." He likes plotting but hates making a decision. He wants to win but will never take the risks involved. But offer him something of minor significance and he will go all out for it. So I don't think he really is hero material, do you? So Xuande asks about Lu Biao. "A person with no reputation," snaps Cao Cao. "Sun Tzu," asks Xuande. "He just relies on his father's greater reputation," replies Cao Cao. "Lu Zhang," ventures Xuande, only to be told that, although of the royal family, he's just a dog guarding the gate. Then, in despair, Xuande rattles off a list of others, to which Cao Cao dismissively replies that they are of no significance at all. Finally Xuande has to admit, "There's no one else I can think of." Smiling, Cao Cao leans forward and says, "There are only two heroes alive today, you and me." This puts Xuande into such a state of almost total panic that he drops his chopsticks. Suddenly into the garden burst two heavily armed soldiers. Shoving aside Cao's own men, they come tearing across the garden towards Cao Cao and Xuande. It is, of course, Zhang Fei and Guan Yu. Having just heard that Xuande had been summoned to see Cao Cao, they have rushed over to make sure he is all right. So imagine their surprise to find the two men calmly sitting, talking and drinking. Needless to say, they have to be careful not to arouse Cao Cao's suspicions. However, when they arrived they were clearly gripping the hilts of their swords with their hands. So they claim they have come to perform a sword dance in honor of the two men. Cao Cao makes a joke about how an assassination attempt had once been made hundreds of years ago under the guise of a sword dance, and that therefore he would prefer it if they didn't do a dance. Not long after, taking advantage of the disruption these two brothers have caused, Xuanda is able to leave. The next day, Xuanda is once again with Cao Cao when news arrives which alarms Cao Cao. Yuan Shao has besieged and killed Gongsun. This is despite Gongsun having built a huge defensive tower and having ample supplies. Yuan Shao had a tunnel dug under the tower and set on fire. The tower collapsed, and there was no escape for Gongsun. In despair he killed his wife and children, and then committed suicide. While Xuanda is deeply saddened at the death of a dear friend, Cao Cao is concerned that as a result Yuan Shao is a much stronger foe than before. News also comes about Yuan Shao's brother Yuan Shu and the imperial seal. Yuan Shu is now a drunk, and he knows it. He is therefore bringing the imperial seal that he has stolen to Yuan Shao, as he feels his brother is the better man to use such a powerful symbol of imperial authority. Cao Cao realizes that the two brothers united with the imperial seal will be a very formidable foe. Xuanda is also worried as to what has happened to his friend Zhao Zilong. He is desperate to escape the claustrophobic atmosphere of Cao Cao's court, so he volunteers to lead a force against Yuan Shu. As a result, and with an imperial commission, Xuanda departs with 50,000 soldiers. On hearing this, Dongqing hastens to visit Xuanda. "Please don't worry," says Xuanda. "I will not forget the emperor's command." As he rides side by side with his two brothers, they ask him why he was so keen to leave. "Here I feel like a bird caught in a cage, or a fish caught in a net. Now I'm able to escape into the sea or like a bird soar into the air free of any cage or net." Xuanda clashes with Yuan Shu's forces and utterly routs them. As a result, a short time after that Yuan Shu is deserted by many of his men and cut off from any possibility of further support. With less than 1,000 soldiers left, he is attacked by bandits, abandoned with almost no food and with many, including members of his family, dying of starvation. Yuan Shu could not be in a more desperate state. Everything has failed. There is no hope left. Unable to eat the coarse food that is all that is left, he asks for some warm water with honey to ease the dryness of his throat. On being told there is none, he collapses and dies. It is the year AD 199. Later someone wrote this poem. At the Han's end, war erupted throughout the land. And Yuan Shu, fool that he was, had no honor left. He gave no thought at all to all his family had given. Instead, insanely, he thought he could be emperor. Stealing the imperial seal, he thought he was the chosen one. Even believing heaven itself had decreed it. In the end, not even able to drink water and honey. He died alone, blood flowing like a river from his mouth. As his coffin is borne back for formal burial, the entourage is attacked and the imperial seal seized. It is triumphantly brought to Cao Cao and Xuchong. It is, of course, Xuanda the victor who reports the defeat and death of Yuan Shu to the emperor. Cao Cao is now more and more alarmed at the popularity of Xuanda. He orders the governor of Xuzhou, Che Zhou, to conspire against Xuanda and to trap him in an ambush as Xuanda returns to his city. Forewarned, Xuanda and his two brothers spring their own trap, and in the ensuing melee Che Zhou is slain by a ferocious and furious Guan Yu. After the brothers have gained entry to Xuzhou, Zhang Fei, angry at what he sees as the betrayal by Che Zhou, slays the whole of Che Zhou's family. This impetuous act of Zhang Fei deeply alarms Xuanda. He knows that Cao Cao will seek revenge for these actions against his governor. At this point Qindeng comes forward with another of his plans. Having succeeded in capturing Lu Bu, Qindeng now believes he can save Xuanda from Cao Cao. How? Well, let's find out.